Today we're going to talk about plant medicine. I would just love to first kind of like hear your experience with it. How did you first hear about plant medicine and kind of what were the steps that led to you taking your first journey?
Well, I felt there was always something I need to see on the other side. I've been getting visions all my life about since the explosions in the military. Um, and I always get these sentences in my head and ideas and characters and dramatic personas, Sada, Aaron, Terry, Shada, Talon, these all just came to me. And then I had a friend who I went to Egypt with who said, "Hey, I'm going to ayahuasca. You should go with me." I said, and immediately the voice said, "Go." So I just went along with it. But then I realized when you actually get there at the location, in this case is in the mountains in Tennessee, uh, it was very scary though, because when you're there, you realize something's going to happen. The funny thing about ayahuasca is you feel it before it happens. The nights before I'd arrive at ayahuasca, it's like the ayahuasca, it was already inside of me. I was already going through a mystical experience of some kind. And so, anyways, what were my intentions? Frankly, I didn't know at first, but uh, I can tell you after I'd gone through it, it's the journey of a mystical experience. It's a mystical journey where you experience reunion with the divine at some level. And you can call the divine whatever anybody wants to. I'm not saying it's this God or Gaia or the Christian God or Christ. It's all those things because every culture has their own way of visualizing the perception of the emanation of divinity. And when you take the plant medicine, you're definitely on the other side. But the whole idea, from my perspective, was it has to be a mystical journey to experience reunion with the divine reality that's always kind of hidden behind a curtain. And when you go on that mystical journey and you go through these images and palaces and a being takes over your body, sort of. It's not your ego because you're told kind of what to do and you're guided along. Okay, now say are you grateful? Yes, I'm grateful. Yes, I'm grateful. Do you accept? Do you accept? I go, yes, I accept. Yes, I accept. Somehow I got into that kind of trance and I kept on going like this. And then all of a sudden get the vision kicks in suddenly. And you kind of say your intentions, you want to see reality or the glory of the divinity or the glory of my soul or the pure vision of my soul. These are your intentions going into it, not putting too much expectations or projecting because you can, I think talk yourself into a lot of stuff when you before you go in with your intentions. But the whole idea is that when you go through the mystical experience of reunion with divinity, you pick up insights and knowledge and powers that augment your own sensibilities and your own spiritual view of your life, and you see your life in a context, and you go, oh, that's why I said that sentence, or oh, that's why I wrote that book, or that's why I did this project called Cosmoautikon. Whereas before you were just kind of auto-dictating for 20 years, and then now you see, now this is what you've done it now. It's great. You're at the end. We're going to show you now what this means. And boom, it's like a firework display. That's the only thing I can say because you can't really translate the mystical experience into words, but you see things like high consciousness. I actually see high consciousness and I feel it. It's like a heroin, not that I know about heroin, but it's like a high feeling. It's like a nice buzz that you're just so high in the sense that you feel euphoric and powerful. Like, if I have a problem in my body, oh, I can heal that. That's going to be very easy to heal now because I have this high consciousness and you're in like a fifth dimension outside the third dimension. And you need to understand how Jesus healed others because he was kind of like in that zone also. where there is no materiality, it's an illusion. Therefore, you have a disease or a problem in life or something you can't overcome, like getting the right answers for your book. All of a sudden, you go, "Oh, I have this." Ooh, you have this. And you're shown marvelous things. They're not just spectacular, but they also apply to your life and how to go forward. Um, and you find yourself coming through the experience and you've augmented your powers and you pick up insights that help you go deeper and deeper into your work. And the overwhelming feeling is you see a reality that's more real than than this reality we have right now, and you're convinced of it utterly. It just seems so real. It's like, whoa, boy, I just been living a dream until now. That's how you feel. Whether you can't explain it to people because unless you're in it, unless you have the euphoric feeling inside your body and your heart, it's like, ooh. And then either the doctor comes to you or the teacher. And in my case, both. And they said, we have your body now. And they started scanning me. And it's like you're in a kind of machine. And all of a sudden you feel going from your toes all the way up to your head, this whole process of vibration going through your body. And then the voice in your head tells you, okay, now we're scanning you and we're checking out what we need to fix. There's some things here. For one thing, you need to be a lot calmer and relax and control your heartbeat because your heartbeat's way out of control. But then at the first time you go through it, you can't do that. You're just like frightened about what's going on because you're riding a tiger. You've lost control of your own thought processes. You're being told what's happening. You're being told the thoughts that you probably should have at the moment and how to respond to this new reality of the divine. You can't just willy-nilly jump into it. You have to prepare yourself with prayers and fasting. And if you don't do that, it becomes it becomes something you don't want to see. And so I was grateful that I was told beforehand by the ceremony leaders um, to have the right thoughts and the right prayers and the right intentions you want to put out there that you want the guides and the divinity to show you. And once you're in it, they come out and say, you even hear some being say, okay, he asked for it, let him see it. And then they take you through the most brilliant, realistic, yet terrifying experiences and visions. And they show you what the work you're working on means, what it will mean for the future, and how other people will be affected by it. And you're glad to see that, okay? You're glad to see that. Um, and you're giving tokens of a reality that what kind of wasn't in my head before. I couldn't anticipate some of the things was shown about the books and my work of the last 40 years. And so, they said you need to finish this book 5, but we need to show you now the other side. And in my case, um, during the second ceremony, after I guess the seventh uh, um, ayahuasca experience, I went through a death experience where I had to say goodbye to wife and child, and but they said first you got to get your heart calm because unless your heart gets down to a slow beat, we can't show you what we need to show you and what needs to happen. And so I just worked on that like for an hour and saw visions that calmed me. And all of a sudden I was able to take over my body. And like in breathing exercises, I guess like, the Brahmins do, my heartbeat went from a panic beat to almost a boom, boom, boom. And then they go, okay, now we can begin the vision and say goodbye to this world. Can you do that? Can you do that? And I finally worked in my state where I could say goodbye. I'm not going to go through it now, but I eventually just said, okay, I think I can do it. Goodbye. I can do it. And my heart stopped. I actually stopped. Most people call it skipping a beat, but how can you control your heart to skip a beat? You can't do that. So there was something else going on in my body. And some other divine power had control of it. And I actually died in that moment, they told me. age 64, uh, on a garage floor next to the garage steps where my mat was with other 24 other people. And immediately my life continued again. And then I was with another being like Mother Ayahuasca, some people call it Gaia, some people call it your spirit guides, but it's a female entity. And she said, I always give you everything you wanted, Mark. So what do you want? And she goes, everything in your life, here's your life. And they showed you your whole life. See, these are all the prayers you made throughout your life. And God heard these prayers. And everything we did for you. Think about all the things we did for you and look at your life, how beautiful it was. And I'm a pretty nervous person. I spent my life worrying about everything. And I had to realize it was really so beautiful. It's like a fireworks display. It was all for me. It was all through immense cocoon of love that I could see I was protected and cared for. We protected you in the war. When you stepped on the mine, the boy next to you stepped on the mine, you were protected. Helicopters having bad landings, weather, ice in storms in your aircraft, and you can't see, you don't know how to get back to the ground, and the ice on your wings, and so you feel like you're gonna die. And see, we took you through all these things. So they got my attention by showing me my life, which I forgot most of that stuff anyways, because it's traumatic. And she goes, what do you want now? I go, well, I have to return. I got work to do. And she goes, okay, we'll give you everything you asked for, but we have to work on you a little bit. So we're taken to a room where they had this big red cross on the wall. And you can call it like a modernist spaceship kind of place room, but it was just like a neon light room. And these entities just worked on me, and I don't know exactly what they did. And and then at one point they said, now we're kind of gonna change all the cells in your body. And all of a sudden you see like a white noise, and like you see on a television screen in the old days, just that white noise. I don't know what you call it, static. And all of a sudden I felt my whole body tingling. I felt all my cells being, I call it, downloaded with new information and DNA on my DNA. And so that was what the spirit guide told me I was with. I go, okay. And again, my whole body was scanned again, up and down. And as it touched your knees, you felt it in your knees, and it got your thighs, and you felt it in your groin. And now we're entering your intestines, and you felt it in your intestines. Then we're in your stomach and your liver, and you felt it in that area. Then it said, we're going to touch your lungs now. And you started breathing like that when, you don't breathe like that, but it's just like a very intense, deep breath. And when it got into your lungs, then you felt it going up to your neck, and it goes, now we're going to enter your brain. And vision started. And it would go like that each night in that kind of process. And there'd be several different stages to the vision. And sometimes it start out with what you call geometric rooms and walls that you had to kind of push through. And you were so amazed to be there. And the noise you heard was like a strange kind of vibration, like but it was very intense and kind of scary, because you felt like you were in a very serious place. You felt like you're in a holy place. You felt like you're in the presence of divinity. Then you hear the spirit guide says, be calm in the presence of the divinity. Boy, that gets your attention, because you don't just hear it, you feel it. Oh my God, where am I? Oh, so this is what the soul looks like. This is what high consciousness feels like. And look, this is the stream of golden light. That's high consciousness. And you can't just be a little bit on the bottom. When you're in it, you go straight to the top. You can't be like in the middle of high consciousness. You're there. And then you realize you have your root soul you're dealing with, not your ego, Mark Chandos on earth soul at all. Because that guy is riding the tiger. He's gone. And you're riding a tiger, and you just go from one vision to the next. And then you say, now we're going to show you a stream of love. and it becomes a white light. It's a white light. And you go, this is pure love. I go, what are these little speckles, these little geometric shapes floating in the stream of like a river of light, white light? These are the souls you meet in your life. I mean, I'm just giving you a thumbnail version. I mean, you talk an hour about each one of these things, and you see these beautiful palace rooms, and this orb, the round entity, like if you read the Zohar, the Jewish Zohar, or the chariot traveling and the Merkabah mystical journey, they always talk about the Shekinah. They see the orb, that you see an orb of fierce string-like objects in a ball who are fiercely vibrating in this ball of like fireworks going off in this ball, and it's constantly in motion and alive and fiercely intelligent, and you're in that present, and you're like, you just want to not bow your head, but you feel like you're totally got to just watch what goes on. And and you heard the divinity say he wanted to see it, so let him see it. And all of a sudden, this ball comes down at right angles, and left and right and up and down, and you say, follow me. And if you follow that through the rooms, and in the Zohar they call it the palace rooms, um, and you're told all the things you need to see, that's that applies to your soul and your present life and your future. And it told us how you've always been taken care of, how you came to this earth with a mission. You came with a contract with your soul to work on certain things or to bring a certain message to earth. And you see all the souls that were came to help Gaia. And we all came to help Gaia because this is the crisis of Gaia. The earth can be destroyed in your lifetime in this period, with all the things going on, scientific industrialism destroying the earth, including nuclear weapons. And they go, Gaia brought all the souls to her to be with her and to raise the consciousness. Because I asked why. And they go, we have to raise the consciousness of all mankind to avoid what's going to happen, the event. And then you're showed the event, which is, it went on for 3 or 4 nights. A certain part of the vision, they'd go to the event again. And the event was always nuclear war and nuclear radiation. And that might just be my own personal warfare in my brain. It's easy to say that's my own personal subjective thing, but it was, I had to put it in the book, and so I had done that. And book 5 now has all the visions I saw, the horrible, horrible things. And there's 24 people in the room, and all of a sudden, when you're in this vision of the event that happens, that actually ends the earth, and human civilization, and resets the entire globe. You hear everybody in the room on the mat. Suddenly, it's like a wave goes through the entire room, and you hear them go, "Oh no, not this! Oh no!" And you feel this radiation coming through your body. So the vision is so realistic that you also hear everybody else in the room who are also in a trance or asleep, also in agony and pain of what I'm seeing, even though I'm seeing it and feeling it alone. They're not seeing it. I hear them reacting to my vision. So whether they're in a trance with me or they're in their own vision, and somehow I just hear their own sighs of pain and agony and terror in the moment, in the event, I just know it's a real thing. So that's my own subjective experience. Um, I was told a lot of personal things, which the video person doesn't want to hear about because they're personal. But I was told many important things that are important for my life. I was told things I need to fix with other people, shadows I need to work on, and people I've hurt and been angry with, how I need to reconcile and work on that, like with my, family members. And the minute I saw it, I go, yep, that's right. I need to do that. It's not, and you're not arguing because you're just downloading. It's so real. It's not a question of going, oh, I really don't want to do that. Yes, I will do that. Okay, I can do that. And if you had a cancer in your body, you'd say, I can fix that too. And I had numbness in my feet right then because I had some problems with my feet being neuropathy. What do you call it? I mean, totally couldn't feel my feet. And the spirit guide or the divinity said, you can fix that. Just feel it. And all of a sudden, I was given this euphoric feeling of power. And you go, okay, yeah, that can be fixed. That's no problem. And then you go, remember you healed yourself of pancreatic cancer 9 years ago? Remember that? That's just happening right now. And boom, you go, whoa, what do you mean now? Yeah, because we knew then you'd be here now and you'd feel this power and you understand how Christ consciousness, and it could be Buddha consciousness or Brahman consciousness or Vedic Indian literature consciousness. It's still just high consciousness. There's no actual personality that owns the divinity. The divinity is so far beyond. Another thing I was told, the divinity is so far beyond knowing. It's almost like the God of nothing. It's beyond our understanding. All we have is emanations in the third dimension, like, Jesus, Buddha, Brahmins, gurus, yogis. These are all emanations from God. And in our culture, we just call it Christ consciousness because it wasn't like Christ being a God. It's Christ as a yogi. After he went through India, 15 years training with the yogis, he brought it back to Palestine and told everybody, we're all Christ. We're all sons and daughters of the boss. And we have this power of being the king's child or the emperor's child. And so we should have that spirit in us instead of spirit of thinking we're defective or just only sinners or only insecure, scared people. No, you're the son of the boss of life, and you were given the precious gift of life from the boss. So have that spirit of boldness in you as you go forward and get rid of this feeling of feeling bad and that you haven't achieved what you want to in your life. And you give it scene after scene after scene that shows you how much you're loved. And they say you don't realize who you are until you realize how much you're loved as a being. And once you realize how much you're loved, you realize how much power you have as a spiritual being from God. Not power as an ego, okay? Not power as Mark Chandos or any individual. How we all have this power. And until you can heal other people, you can't love other people. And until you love other people, you can't heal them. And that was the message over and over again. It was like a loop. Love and healing, love and healing, love and healing. You can't separate the two. And when you deeply love, you have the power to deeply heal. And then all of a sudden, the Christ consciousness comes into focus. Also, that's how Lazarus rose from the dead. That's how Jesus rose Lazarus, because he went on the other side. He saw God, the face of God directly, and he was probably a lot even closer than I was in that moment through his experience, because he was the direct emanation of God, of divinity. Let's just say divinity. So he was like sent to do that. And just like I was sent maybe to write a book or do some things in my life, and you were sent to do something in your life. Well, that's your emanation. That's my emanation. And it might be a different level, but still you have to realize that you're the son of the boss and you have all the powers of the boss, divinity. We have these divine powers within us. And that's the most beautiful message of the ayahuasca experience or the deep breathing yogi experience. You actually go to the real reality. You see how much you live in the realm of love and very high consciousness of immense euphoric power from God because you're part of God. You're reuniting with divinity. That's the experience. You're reuniting with divinity. You're losing your ego. You're getting rid of your own thoughts and desires for your life in the present moment, and you're seeing the big picture. And you augment your spirit with the powers that you pick up along that kind of mystical journey. You see what other people do not see in life and still live. So anyway, after my death experience, I said, okay, you're going to return now. And there's some things you need to know. We worked on your body so you can live longer than you were going to live because you died, age 64, you died on a garage floor next to the wood steps. And we're going to bring you back to finish your job, the work you need to do. You have some work to finish. And it's not only just my life with my book, but life with the family. And I said, what else do you want? I said, I want to learn to love correctly. And that became a big deal. Okay. So that came a lot of stuff going on about that. And it didn't tell me how they're going to do it, but I found out this year I've been through lots of stuff and everything happened. I healed myself, everything I told myself I was going to heal myself from, because I felt that power, and it probably happened instantaneously, but in time, it appears slower as you integrate what you did. Because I always noticed that when something happened, I had an image of myself dying. It didn't happen until maybe 3 hours later, actually, in the vision. But I had these flashes in the beginning. You always have flashes of what you're going to see in your vision, but and then the vision slowly works up to that vision again. So you're out of time, and it seems like the time scales are all off, because like the night before I took ayahuasca, I couldn't sleep all night, and I was like buzzing all night, and I didn't take ayahuasca. So your body, your spirit reacts outside of time to what they know it's already going to happen. It's already happened. And like I told the guy in ayahuasca who was very nervous there the second time, I go, don't be so nervous because it's already happened. That's what I learned. This stuff has already happened. Your whole life has already happened. All your loves, all your failures, all your things you achieved, it's happened. And you're already the beloved child of God. And that's happened. So get rid of your fear. And that's what I learned also, to get rid of a lot of my fears, because we've already achieved basically everything we want to achieve in our life. And we are divinely loved. We're divinely taken care of. We have eternal life because we're God, we're the child of the boss and the child of the prince or child of the king. So we should have the power of the throne. And if we can see the throne and see, and when you say, I see the throne, you see that Shekinah, the orb, that's the emanation of a God, is the divine presence in the third dimension. Let's just call Shekinah that. And I saw it when I was 5 years old, and I almost died during I had kidney disease. I remember being 5 years old and seeing the same thing. It was a scary thing. It was black and white then as a 5 year old child. Then all of a sudden, when you're 64 and ayahuasca, it comes back in this brilliant purple color, and go, see, this, remember me when you were 5? That was God. That's the divinity. And it was so personal. You know, they know you personally. They know every hair of your body. They know every thought you've ever had. There's no hiding anything, and there's no judgment. That's the beautiful thing. Yeah, you got to do things. Yeah, you got to fix this. Yeah, you messed this up, but you know there's no judgment because you have an entire lifetime, and that's eternity, and there's no hurry. They keep saying there's no hurry here. I mean, before enlightenment, chop wood. After enlightenment, chop wood. What's your hurry? So our job is to feel this. Your job is to feel everything. And you won't know what love is till you feel it, and you lose it, and you gain it, and you lose it, and you gain it. Then you kind of get a sense for it. It's like learning how to drive. You get a feeling for your pedals, or you learn how to fly a helicopter. You play with the controls, and you kind of feel your way. You lose it and you get it back. You lose it and you get it back. It's that presence and void, because creation comes out of the void. Unless there's a void, you don't understand words. Unless there's a void, there's no planets. There has to be a void of space for there to be planets. Well, there has to be a void of love, and there might be terror that takes the place of love. Then you get love back and joy. You go, oh, so that's what it is. Ah, that's what I was missing. That's what I need. And you learn. It's like that duality, that presence and void, that gain and loss. And you just had to feel your way. And I had to integrate this during the last year. All your ayahuasca experiences, you don't really know what it is in the moment, but then you wake up and you integrate everything you saw. And of course, during it, I remember being on my knees saying, "Oh God, please let me remember this." And I wrote in the book, and I wrote 80 pages. As you're coming out of it, you're able to write in the dark. And I remember I wrote over and over again, please let me remember this. Please let me remember this. Because the things you saw are really so important and so vital. At your brain, at our brain, at our vibration right now in third dimension, you can't remember it all. And you kind of feel like you're not going to, but you go, I got to remember this though. You go, we're going to let you remember that. Yes. Yes. And then as you integrate it during the year, you do remember more things, and all of a sudden images come into your mind. You go, whoa, I remember that. Because there's always a point in these visions in ayahuasca, and probably with any yogi experience or any mystical experience, you come to a place where you're so friggin' scared, you really don't want to be there. You really would like to just stop, just say, time out, let me go back to wherever. And they go, no, you got to see this. And you go, oh, no, no, no. And you go, oh God, I forgot this. Now I remember this. I remember this. Oh, now it's coming, it's building again. Oh, I remember this. Oh, how could I forget this? It's so scary. Yeah, and it's silence. And I go somewhere and I see something and do something, because I just feel myself to be totally freaked out. Then all of a sudden, you're back. And then you go into another vision immediately. And I say to myself, what can I remember what I just went through? They go, keep moving, push through the next wall, push through the next room. And you keep pushing through the other rooms, and you're in a different status of the vision. And you see all the faces in your life that you met. You see all the important things that happened in that moments you could have just lost it all or been killed or died or something really bad happened. See how we took care of you here? See how you were so greatly loved? And you go, yeah, I see. And when you feel so connected with the divine, it's the reunion with the divine. That's what ayahuasca is, or any mystic experience. You know, everything's gonna be okay, just like the song says. It's just that it's so scary though, because life is not peace and just harmony. There's something fierce going on. There's actually like a war in heaven. There's something so important that life has to be necessary to fix something that's not life. It's weird. And you can't quite figure out what that is, but you know that you're involved in this process. You know that you are necessary, that your life, no matter who you are, I don't know if you care if you're president or a corporate leader or a ditch digger or a gardener or a farmer, your life is so vital to this outcome of this issue, this event that's happening. And it seemed like the events all happening at the same moment, by the way. And at one point, they said, unless you can heal yourself, pancreatic cancer 8 years ago, and unless you didn't do that 8 years ago, which is happening right now, because now you're feeling the power to do it, you're seeing how to do it, love, conscience, you're seeing it, and you feel it, and you just know it's a matter of just making a mental thought. Get rid of that tumor, get rid of that numbness in your feet, get rid of that bad relationship. You can correct it. You realize, then you see the face of Christ, which in our culture is our guru, our yogi, our Brahman, our Buddha. And we see the face of Christ looking at you saying, can you do it? Can you heal yourself? Can you love other people? Can you heal other people? Because if you can't heal yourself, I can't raise Lazarus from the dead. I can't give the blind sight. I can't raise a stupid woman. And like, boom, you realize what? I'm that vital in that process. He goes, Mark, look around the room. Everybody here is trying to heal and heal others. I'm raising Lazarus at this moment, but you have to be able to do it, or I can't do it. And that's pretty serious when you got the Brahman or Buddha or Christ, Jesus telling you, I can't do it unless you do it. And that means everybody. That doesn't mean just my mind. It means everybody in the room in ayahuasca and you on the video screen. Everything you do in this life affects all 9 dimensions, because our soul exists in all 9 dimensions. And if you fail in any of those dimensions, you lower those dimensions consciousness, or you raise them. If you succeed in overcoming your fears or breaking through the wall of love or recovering from love or losing everything you lost and loved in life and then get it back slowly like Job did. I guess that's why we have the story of Job. By the way, all of a sudden the Bible stories start making sense because, in our scientific world, we think they're all mythology. Guess what? All the stories in the Bible, there's a reason why Job went through hell. There's a reason why Elisha and Elijah rose the dead in the Old Testament before Christ even, because that's the job. There's a reason why the Shumanite woman brought the prophet Elisha into her house, and he gave her a son, even though she was barren. And at age 7, the son died in the fields one day. And the prophet Elisha came and said, ask that Shumanite woman how she's doing. And the servant went, how are you doing? And the woman said, I never can get over this. It is well. But her son just died. So how can she say it is well? Well, that's a mystery journey. That's a mystery teaching straight from the throne of God. Because the prophet heard her say, all is well. Because in the 5th dimension, the 9th dimension, all is well. We have eternal life. And he put himself on the boy and brought the boy back to life. And this is the Old Testament. This is for Jesus, right? This means this healing love process going on in all the stories of the Bible. And Job had to lose everything to get it back, to feel, because our job in the third dimension, I was told, is to feel everything. We have to feel the lowest. We have to feel terror and joy, love, hate. We have to feel it, because in the ninth dimension, God is his eyes are too pure to behold evil. And so we have to kind of go through the lows and highs of the spectrum. But we have to remember the lows and highs is a polarity of one, and we're all in this harmony. It just appears to us in the third dimension like we're really depressed. We're really unhappy. We're really lacking. We really need some more money here. We really need some more love. And, that's our own hangups, as you use an old word. That's our own mortal mind telling us we're lonely, unhappy, defeated, broken, addicted. And but that and then they tell you that's just the five senses. Anytime you use the five senses, you fall short. So just understand what high consciousness is versus low consciousness of the five senses. And yeah, the five senses are beautiful. God gave you the Gaia, and the nature is beautiful, but you're out of sync. You're out of sync with nature. You're the ego, in the modern ego, you are totally out of sync with Gaia, the world that the divine divinity gave you. And so you're like a stranger. You're like a lost soul in the world you're in now, right now. So get back into sync. Get out in your bare feet in the grass. Get in nature. Get in sync with the seasons. Understand your spirit is a spirit, but we are also given a mortal body that's also a temple of the divine. You can't totally reject it. And that's why if you need to be healed in it, you can be healed, because you have that power because your body is the same fabric of your mind in the ninth dimension. Your body is nothing but an emanation, like Jesus was an emanation, or Buddha was an emanation, or Brahman's an emanation, or yogi is an emanation from the divine mind. Because in the end, God is a divine mind. He's not really a personality. He's not a guy with a beard. He's a fiercely intellectual globe of intelligence that you can't even approach unless you have the right vibration. And that's why you can't really you can't approach the divinity, because you have to have emanations in your visions, which is the Shekinah, that round ball, that fierce round ball, which I end up following through like a garden, like a pyrotechnic garden of geometric shapes. But you were so frightened to be there. You were so frightened to be there. Um, but at the same time, you were very lucky to be there. I hate to say the word, but you're kind of chosen to be there, because they even kind of told you, I hate to say this, but you got other people in the room can't not see what you're seeing. And then I talked to people later, and they all, didn't really see much other than throwing up, or they saw demons, grasshoppers picking them up, turning them upside down, um, all kinds of panthers in the forest because they went into the Amazon part of the ayahuasca. Uh, and I just, in my prayers and preparations, said, I don't want to go to the Amazon forest. Thank you. I appreciate it. I love it, but I don't want to go there tonight. And you make that intention. And I said, what do you want to see then? I go, I want to see the goodness of divinity. I want to see the glory of divinity. And that intention took me through all 14 nights, because that's what I saw. And I saw my place in that, and how important we are as souls, and not individual souls, as sparks from God's soul, how vital we are. I don't care if you're a farmer or a president of the United States, um, how vital we are, how vital you are, Kyla, how vital my wife Yvonne is, how vital Beatrice is, my child, just because of their personality. And we shouldn't be trying to be like anybody else besides ourselves. And if we need to rise above what we're doing and get to a higher level, we'll get that message. It'll come to us. There's no hurry, but we don't need to be beaten up on ourselves. But there's things we should do to correct our thought, because our thought and our intention manifest our life in the third dimension. Even though we kind of manifest from the fifth dimension, because you got to kind of raise your consciousness to a higher level. You can't just ask God specifically in a prayer in the third dimension using the five senses, using words. Get me, I like to have this house, or I like to have this relationship, or I like to have this thing. You say, thank you for the glory of God. Thank you for the glory of life. Thank you for eternal life. That's really all I learned how to, that's the only prayer you can pray now. Because once you've seen the glory of divinity, all you can say is, thank you for letting me be around here. Thank you for letting me be in life. Thank you for letting me be here. And you don't ask for anything. You don't want to ask for cars, houses, books or anything. You don't want to ask for it because like, don't even talk about that stuff here. The world is foolishness to where you are in that ayahuasca experience. So I don't know what to say. I don't know what your questions are. I probably said too much.
You said a lot. I think that was great.
I don't even know what I said. What time?
Well, it's been about 40
Oh
minutes.
my. See, I just lost. I just had ayahuasca experience
Well,
because to me it's like 2 minutes.
you were right though about needing more time. So I've made some notes about things that I would like to dig into more, but we'll probably need another another call for that. I know you said you have an appointment at 11:24, but
I'm sorry
um
if I went on too long. I don't
no, it was
because
great.
see, I
So,
don't know what to say. So
well,
I just kind of got to follow what I can grab a hold of in my mind as I run along this path of going along this path of trying to remember it. And once you're in it, it's like you're carried along. You're all along for a ride.
these are all my notes of different things that you said that like of
Okay.
points in the video that I want to clip. So there was a lot of
Okay.
goodness in there. I guess what is in 10 words or less?
Don't do that.
So, ayahuasca was kind of a gateway to
Reconnection with the divine. I wrote it down here last night. You experience reunion with the divine, and it's real. It's a reality. You experience a reunion with the divine reality. Okay, let's just call that
Mhm.
divine reality because it
Okay.
upsets people when you talk about God. I know that, but when you talk about I was in a divine realm, I was in it with a divine entity. People can believe that because that's exactly what it was.
Sure. So I guess my question would be then how to, and maybe this is a topic for next time, stay connected to that back in 3D, you
I
know?
also asked that question because after they told me I was saved and they said, stop, drink that in, throw down your pen. Do you know what we just told you? Are you listening? You're one of the few humans that have been told by divinity or spirit guides that you've been saved. Savor it, drink it in. All of a sudden, you feel this. I call it a heroin thing. I never took heroin, but I feel it. It's like, oh, oh, yeah, I feel that. That's high consciousness. That's your root soul. That's your union with God. Isn't it something? Enjoy that. And I go, how can I keep this feeling? Stay in the vision. Stay in the vision. Stay in the vision. And I just kind of went into it again with you this last hour. I just fell into it. Once you've done it, you don't need ayahuasca, after 14 nights, you have enough. Once you get the telephone message, hang up the telephone. Okay. You don't want to keep going back to that well once you've seen divinity and you've seen the firework display and you're told you're going to be, the book's going to be $1 billion thing and blah, blah. You don't want to go back into that well too many times because you got it. Anyway, so now when I want to go into the vision, I go back into it. I can just meditate and get into it. I have the visions at night when I go to sleep. I mean, you touch cannabis in any way, shape, or form, you kind of go in the vision, although it becomes paranoia because you've seen too much and you think you're going to die. It's your night to die again. Once your heart stops, you think it's going to happen again, except for real. And everybody, last night, I had to get up and walk around for an hour at 1 o'clock because I kept getting to the point where, okay, you're going to die tonight. Okay, your heart's going to give up.
Hmm.
And so you get a little bit scared. Okay. I mean, you get really frightened. Sweat breaks out and everything because you feel your whole body shutting down. And that's a scary feeling when you're my age. Okay. Because you don't know what's going on for sure. You don't know if your time has come, even though I was told the date, by the way, and I want to mention the date or time when I would leave this earth. So anyways, that was like information not in my head before because you do ask them for things. Tell me something I didn't already know before. At some point, and there's always a lull between visions, and your brain kicks in. They go, ask these guys something you couldn't imagine before, and then you're given tokens of something that you didn't even know about. Like I've shown an image of a cone with a little bud on top, and then I was next day it appeared in the tarot cards. The first card came up was that sacral chakra. And they go, that's the image. I go, now I know what that is. And they tell me how that would apply in my life now in the future. Again, I'm getting into it now.
Yeah.
I can't go back into this whole rabbit hole.
Well, that's great. Well, it's 11:28 and I know you have something at 11:30, so